Hello and welcome back to Knit Tea Live. I hope you are all having a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining me again, whether it's live while this is happening or you are watching on the playback. Thank you for joining us for Knit Tea Live. And I'm going to remember to do this right at the top for a change and say, please make sure that you give this video a thumbs up. Giving videos thumbs up lets YouTube know that this is a space worth checking out. So yeah, just waiting to see who else shows up. Please make sure that you say hi in the chat box so I know you are here and we can start the conversation. I'll be honest, I wasn't positive yesterday if I was going to be doing Knit Tea Live because if you follow me on Twitter, you may have seen my tweet that my daughter has a cold, and if my daughter has a cold, I just assume I have a cold. And I was feeling very tired yesterday, but that could have just been the week catching up to me because it has been a hell of a week, not, anyway, whatever. This is what happens when I try to be cool. Anyway, I'm always 10 years behind. Got my coffee in my Contigo mug. So yes, my daughter has a cold. It's so sad. I really hope I have audio here. Yes. Okay. It's always so sad when a toddler has a cold. Like, it's just sad. It's just sad and sad. Bear, I'm here listening and spinning some. Oh, good. Yay. I hope your spinning is going well, Bear. I saw your Instagram photo and I was like, ooh, spinning wheel. So intrigued by it. But, oh, sorry, I'm hearing my daughter right now. My husband is with her, of course. But, so anyway, I was feeling very tired yesterday. Could have just been the week catching up to me. It could have just been, I was worried I was coming down with a cold myself. I'm kind of still assuming that I will at some point get this cold because that's what happens. Daughter gets sick. I get sick, husband gets sick. That's the pattern in our family. Like, my 3-year-old does not understand the concept of, you have a cold, please stop touching mommy's face. Like, all the face touching is happening. Like, it's like, I love you so much, but you are a petri dish right now. A petri dish of cold virus. But she's doing well. She's doing really well. She just has a very runny nose and is feeling like, at times she has all her usual energy back, and at other times she just feels puny, as my mom would say. Anyway, so I wasn't sure if this live stream was going to happen or not. And I woke up this morning. Last night I was like, well, I'm going to schedule it. I'll see how I feel in the morning. I was like, you know what? I'm feeling good this morning. But I was also like, I don't actually have a lot of a plan. So this should be an interesting live stream. But here is what I have on the agenda. Bear says about her spinning. So far it's going okay. May your daughter feel better soon. Oh, thank you. And it not spread to you and your husband. Oh, fingers crossed. But it's life with a toddler. Life with a toddler is they get sick, everyone gets sick, and we're all passing this stuff around each other. In a way, though, I have to say, I'm going off on a tangent. It's kind of good that she's had a cold because we've been pretty much in sort of, pandemic mode since March and haven't had a lot of contact with other people outside of our little unit. And, she's just not getting exposed to a lot. And they opened up the playgrounds again, so we were taking her to the playground, and she's had a couple of colds this past month. So, which is good. Her immune system needs to work out, but it's no fun while we're in it. Thankfully, toddlers, though, unlike adults, they bounce back fast. Like, I'm sure by Tuesday, it'll be all a distant memory. But yeah, so for today's agenda, I'm going to show you some of my whips from the purple couch. Because I always take photos on my couch of what I'm working on and put them on Instagram, and invariably it's on my couch. I have a purple couch, and I love my purple couch. So I'm going to show you the more recent whips, not all the whips that are actually on the purple couch, because some of them you are already familiar with and they haven't really progressed. But I do have some projects for Fasten Off Yarn Along 2020. I'm going to show you the patterns that I bought, and I will show you, or I'm going to have you help me pick out yarn for my second Fasten Off Yarn Along project, because I'm pretty sure my first one I will be finishing in the very nearish future. And by that I mean probably by the end of the week, because these are small projects I picked out. So that is kind of what's on the agenda for the most part. And of course I will answer any questions that you guys have about whatever, because I love answering questions, I think. And I'm going to really try to control any sniffles that I might have. Okay, so first up, let's look at some works in progress. So I'm just going to come over here to, not that one, not that one, that one. Sorry, my nose is just like, I'm going to be touching my nose. I don't know why I'm so self-conscious about touching my nose on camera, but I am. I feel like it's setting a bad example. But, you know, this whole thing though about not touching your face, like, that's so hard. Never realized how much I touched my face until this year. Okay, so, and I'm going to show you what happened to my crochet hook. But first, work in progress. So, where's the, sorry, I'm not, there it is. Okay, so, first thing that I am working on for the Fasten Off Yarn Along is this. You're like, Carrie, what's that nice little piece of lace knitting here? This will be, excuse me, when it is completed, a boot cuff. I actually have the paper pattern. I only have the first page. I don't have both pages of it. This is a boot cuff. This was designed by the Metzbauer girl. And this, I got this because I love a good boot cuff. In fact, I'm going to have to come out of this mode, and then I will go to, sorry, I'll show you the picture of the finished project in a minute. But this will be a boot cuff. When this is finished, I'm going to pin block this, because it is lace, but I'm going to use a spray technique. I'm not going to wash this before I block it, because this is not completed yet. That is pretty. Yes, Bear, it is so pretty. This is actually not completed yet. These two ends will come together, and I will graft the ends together. But before I do the graft, I want to block this first, because it is lace knitting. This is a garter stitch lace pattern. This is called the Old English boot cuff. Old English lace, sorry, Old English lace. And so what I'm going to do is I will actually just lightly spray this with water. I will pin it out, and then I will spray it some more and let it dry. And that is a way that you can do a wet block before you wash something. So I will give this a blocking. After it's blocked, I will graft it, and then I will give it its final wash. And then if it needs a little bit more blocking after that, I can do that. But that's how I'm going to handle this situation. Because I could wash this and do a pin block like I did in my Craft With Me video where I finished that cowl. But I really would like to actually use my tail here to do the graft, so it's one less thing I have to weave so much. And if I wash this first, this strand of yarn will just get like fuzzy and ploofed out and won't really be good for grafting. So then I'd have to introduce a whole new strand of yarn to do that. So I didn't feel like doing it that way. So I'm going to use like a spray technique. So I have this. This is the completed. This is the first one. And I got the second one here on my needles. So this one I just started, actually I started yesterday. I screwed up the first couple of rows, so I frogged the whole thing and started again. And this starts with a provisional cast on, and actually for my provisional cast on, I used Judy's Magic Cast On. That is actually one of my favorite cast ons to use for a provisional cast on is Judy's Magic Cast On. I really like it for times when after I'm finished, it's going to get grafted, because then I end up with an equal number of loops on both sides of the graft, because Judy's Magic Cast On is actually creating two separate loops of yarn on either side of kind of the cast on ridge. Most provisional cast on techniques, like the crochet cast on, etc., they are actually relying on using the upside down stitches to create a set of stitches below the cast on, which is great. It's a great technique. But when you do that on a flat piece, you end up with one less stitch from the upside down stitches than from the right side up stitches. And of course, if you're interested in knowing more about all that I just talked about with upside down stitches and right side up stitches and how a lot of provisional cast-ons work, I have the video, Knitting Secrets Revealed, the Mysterious World of Upside Down Stitches. I'm very proud of that video. I'm very proud of that video. So that is this project. This I am doing for the Fasten Off 2020. You can find that Metzbauer girl is on the Fiber Indie list. So if you are interested in this, you can go to my website, knitswhereit'sat.com, make your way to the Fiber Indie list. She is a knit designer, that Metzbauer girl. She has really cute designs. They're really cute. They're very functional. Some of them have a very nice retro feel to them. And you're going to see a little bit of, oh, they're right here. Yay, it's already set up. Yes. This is what the boot cuff will look like when it is complete. This is the English lace boot cuff, and it's made with sock yarn. And by the way, this is such a great project. If you have leftover sock yarn, that is what I'm using for this. The ball is on the floor right now. The ball is on the floor. The ball is on the floor. So, but this is, boot cuffs are a really great project for leftover sock yarn that you may have. And I love this color. This is Knit Pick Stroll. This I used actually for the first sock. Do I have it with me? The first sock I ever designed. I thought I had it in here. Oh, I know where it is. I know where it is. It's underneath my desk. The first sock I ever designed used this yarn. This is Stroll. This is the sock that I made with it and a brown. And I love this color so much. But unfortunately, Knit Picks, they discontinued this pink orangey tonal color, which bums me out. I'm always like, it's called Queen Anne. I'm like, guys, bring back Queen Anne. Come on, Knit Picks. Bring back the Queen Anne. It's so pretty. It's like, it's gorgeous. Here, I'll show you. Let me show you what the front looks like. I love these socks so much. This is mosaic knitting. This is the first sock I ever designed. Oh, there, kind of, oh geez, I'm not doing good here. So yeah, this was my first sock I ever designed. I love this sock. Alright, so, and of course, the other project that I have been working on that you all have been a part there. Your videos help me so much. I like that I can watch them and learn something. I still have to refer back to them, but I'm learning. Oh, well, I'm glad that you're learning and that you're finding them helpful, because that is the goal. And, one of the things I've always sort of, the fact is, there's so many great videos on YouTube for knitting, to learn things with knitting. And I admit that a lot of times I avoid doing sort of like the 5-minute, here's how you do this technique and move on, because I feel like there's so many good videos that are already doing that. I try with my videos to kind of bring something to like next level, like another layer of knowledge to help move things along. I'm not explaining myself well. I'm going to blame the oncoming cold. So that's always the goal, and have a little fun with it too. Provide some entertainment at the same time. So the next project I'm going to show you, you all are familiar with because you have been a part of me doing this project, picking the pattern, picking the colorway, and that is my Tunisian crochet project. I am not as far along with it as I should be, if you want to know the truth. I want to make sure live streaming. Oh, this one. Okay. Oh God. Sorry. I'm still trying to figure out how I can get more light right on here, this space. Because it just gets dark here. And I know why. It's because I have my desktop computer on a stand right in front of me that's below the camera here, so you can't see it, but it's creating a shadow here in this space, and I tried to use this lamp. Let me turn it on. Maybe that'll help a little bit, but if I shine the lamp down on the space, maybe that helps a little. Yeah, last week it was causing a glare, but I think that works okay. We're gonna go with it. Anyway, what I need is a light like right above here, this camera, this overhead camera. I need a light right above. It's overhead. That's what I need to make this better, but we're making do. I'm a little baby channel. So anyway, I digress. I'm gonna stop being apologizing. So this is the Tunisian crochet, and I am here. I finished all of the interlock squares, blocks, which now you can actually see. Last week when I showed this off, they were all curled up, and that's something that happens with Tunisian crochet, because in Tunisian crochet, you don't turn the work, and so it tends to curl up a lot because there's uneven tension on both sides of the fabric. But once you start working some additional rows, it kind of pulls the curl out. But with Tunisian crochet, you do have to block the work because that's the only way you're really going to get rid of the curl at the end of the day. Sorry for this glare right here. You know what? You want to do it? I'm going to zoom in. Here we go. Zoom past the glare. So that's what this looks like right now. I am now up to one, two, three. I've done 4 rows of the regular Tunisian crochet row, because this alternates these interlock blocks with then sort of this chevron, these chevron rows. What's interesting about this pattern, by the way, and this is Step Up by Aclori Design. Aclori Design, she is another designer on the Fiber Indie list. You can find her in the crochet section. Really great shawls and hats, and she's a Tunisian crochet designer. But what's interesting about this is you do get the Tunisian simple stitch on this side of this chevron, but then on this side, you do the Tunisian purl stitch. So you get to do a couple of different Tunisian crochet stitches. And you do even have a little knit stitch right here where you do an increase at the top of the square as you come around that corner. And then there's also some decreasing that happens down here to compensate for the increases that you do up here at the top of the mountain. There, that's nifty. Yeah, it really is. And here's the thing. Oh my God. Here's the thing. I'm going to just turn this lamp off for a second. Here's the problem. I am still on this freaking row. I have frogged back stop, think, use your words. I got up to row 6. There are 6 rows for this chevron section. 6 rows. I got up to row 6 and I was like, oh, I have to frog back again. Because I made a couple mistakes. I had dropped a yarn over. I had missed a decrease. And I had missed it, well, that was the first time. So I frogged back, started going again, missed an increase, had to frog back again. And the thing with Tunisian crochet, and crochet in general, it's the thing about it that I don't enjoy as much as I enjoy with knitting is if you make a mistake, you can't like drop your stitch down to where the mistake is, fix it, and then crochet back up like you can with knitting. In crochet and in Tunisian crochet, I'll turn the light back on so you can see it better. In Tunisian crochet, you pull up loops of yarn, right? And for every row there's two passes. There's the forward pass where you pull up loops of yarn, and then there's the return pass where you do a slip chain through those loops of yarn that suspends those loops on the slip stitch chain. That's how Tunisian crochet works. Well, because you have a slip stitch chain that is suspending these stitches, if you make a mistake, you can't just unravel it down that one column of stitches. Your only option really is to frog back. So I have frog backed like the same 2 or 3 rows more times than I even remember. And I've literally spent 3 days just to get to this point. It's been 3 or 4 days since I picked up the light blue stitches for the regular rows of Tunisian crochet, and I should be farther along. I should have this section complete and be started on my second set of entrelac blocks. But I have to put a pin in this project right now because tragedy struck last night. So let me show you what happened. I'm going to just come back here to my webcam. I will leave this light on right now. Oh my God. My crochet hook gave up life. My crochet hook said, enough already. I need a break. My crochet hook was like, no mas. I give up. I give up on life. This is what happened. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this, but, oops. Oh, we'll go there. There we go. My crochet hook broke. That is what my crochet hook looks like right now. It didn't break, thankfully. What happened was the adhesive here that attaches this wood crochet hook to this metal join, the adhesive just gave way, and I should have realized sooner that there was a problem, because when I pulled out this crochet hook to start this project and I put the cable on, I noticed that the crochet hook was spinning inside this, which it should not have been doing. It should be still. So I should have realized right away that this crochet hook had an issue. So long story short, shouldn't be that long of a story, but I make them long. I gotta fix this. I was on Instagram. I got some very useful advice from people to help me fix this. I could try to use E6000. I'm gonna turn this off. I could try to use E6000 to fix my crochet hook. My concern with using E6000, however, is one, it's very thick and viscous, and I worry about trying to get that into this hole and not end up having it all over the place. My other issue, though, is I love E6000. E6000 is an amazing glue, but I have never found it particularly great for metal. Trying to use any kind of adhesive with metal is always tricky because metal is a non-porous material, and most glues are really relying on the ability for the glue to seep into the pores of each side of the material to bond them together. Well, metal has no pores for the glue to seep into, so it's always going to be a little bit weaker trying to join something porous like wood to something metal. I just hit myself on my nose with the end of my cable. So, what I suspected would be the best adhesive to use and was confirmed to me by other people on Instagram is to use a 2-part epoxy. So I have to get a 2-part epoxy. However, potential cold happening right now because child has cold. So I assume I have a cold until either it happens or it doesn't happen by the end of next week. So I ordered some epoxy. And I ordered some epoxy on Amazon because that's what you do right now. And I have to wait for that to come in. And then I will fix it. But I got some very useful tips on how to successfully re-glue this together. But until it's glued back together and stable, I'm going to have to just put a pin in the Tunisian crochet project. But that's fine, because I got plenty of other stuff going on, obviously. I have so many other projects going on. I have the boot cuff. I have the tunic that you all who've been watching me regularly have seen. I've kind of put a pin in that one because I've gotten to a point in it where I need to make some decisions. I have the blanket repair. I've got my long-term mitered square blanket project. Me having projects in progress, not an issue. Not an issue in my life. So, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Oh, Carrie, you have so much going on. What am I going to do? I'm going to start another project. Yes! Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. So yes, I'm going to start another project. I'm very excited about this project. I'm going to just switch that over. Okay. I am very excited about this project because this project I'm starting is another one that I got through the Fasten Off Yarn Along, which is still going on. The discount period ended yesterday, but the Fasten Off Yarn Along, Make Along is still going on. If you want to take part, you can still buy a pattern. The database is still live. You just won't get the 25% discount. But it's going on through the end of the month, and they've got all sorts of giveaways and fun games going on. There's a bingo game going on. There's a quiz. We're now doing treasure hunt game. There are all sorts of fun games going on. Hey, Whitney! Glad that you made it. Thank you for coming. Don't worry, you can always catch up on what you missed with the playback, because you can. Oh shoot! I forgot. Oh darn it. Okay, sorry. I forgot to put my phone in airplane mode. I'm gonna fix that real quick. So I'm going to just let you look at something pretty while I go fix that. Here's something pretty to look at. Okay. Sneak out. Oh my gosh. This is such a pain when I do this. Okay. It's okay. Just. Sorry about that. I hate when I do that. I'm back. Sorry. Live. This is all happening live. Sorry that you saw that alert come up on my phone. To do the live stream, I use my phone. I have an old iPhone that I use for my overhead camera. And then I have my regular iPhone that I set up for the live stream, and I use an app called Clean Feed so that I can feed it live. It's a whole thing. I'm hoping to get a webcam soon and not have to deal with this anymore. But anyway, I forgot to put my phone into airplane mode so alerts don't come up. The first time I did this, just alert after alert came up. It was so... For those of you who've been watching my live streams from the beginning, I think it's fair to say that my technical problems have come way down, but they still happen. That's a whole other thing. So, where was I? Okay, so yes, I am going to be starting another project today, really, with all of you. So with the Fasten Off Yarn Along One of the designers on it is one of my favorite designers on the Fiber Indie list. They're all my favorite, but you know, they are. Everyone is my favorite designer on the Fiber Indie list, but I really do love Liz Cork's work. And this pattern that I'm about to show you came up about a couple months ago on Fiber Happenings, and I left it up on Fiber Happenings for quite a long time because I was just so in love with the pattern. And sorry, stop fussing, Carrie. It was sort of now. Should I just take this off? Oh my god, I'm such a mess today. There we go. Okay. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry I'm such a mess right now. I'm really all over the place. So, Fiber Happenings, I kept this particular pattern up for a long time because I just loved it. And it was almost bookmarking it for myself. So when Fasten Off Yarn Along came along and I saw that Liz Cork was on the list, I was like, oh, please let this be on the discount list, please. And it was. So this is the pattern. Oh, come on. That you already saw that pattern. Why is it not switching? It's not working. Why is it not working? Oh, I know why it's not working. Oh, okay. I know why it's not working. Sorry, I'm thinking about how I have to do this. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Oh, shoot. I'm worried if I try to change this. Okay, I know what I'm going to do. Sorry. Oops. I'm doing real well right now. I know what I'm going to do. I did this wrong, and if I try to change if I try to make any changes in the desktop share, I could disrupt the live stream, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to find the design online. So you're going to get to watch me do that. So sorry. So sorry. I'm going to close that and bring that up. Sorry you have to see how rough this is. And I'm going to find a designer. That'll be the easiest way to get to this. Go down to Liz Cork Knits. Go. That's okay though. I had this all set up and anyway. She has so many great designs, by the way. I think I love everything that she does. Like, look at this pattern right here, which I can't even begin to try to pronounce that. Kubri. Oh, most of her patterns use Gaelic, I believe it's Gaelic words for names, and I just don't know how to pronounce it. But I love it. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Okay, let's just get down to the pattern I bought. Foghar. Oh, God, look at that shawl. It's gorgeous. The color, the texture. This is what I got, though. The Loose Knot Touise, I hope. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm probably not. But I'm going to click on, and you can see it in her PayHip store. Liz Cork is on PayHip, and is she on Etsy as well? I'm not sure. But this is just such a gorgeous glove. I love it so much. It has this twisted stitch pattern, so it's a mock cable pattern. I've been in love with this pattern since I saw it and put it up on Fiber Indie list, or on Fiber Happenings rather, and I finally was like, I'm purchasing this and I'm going to make this, and I'm very excited about it. But I need to choose some yarn. I need to choose what yarn I'm going to use for this lovely creation. So the thing about this pattern is, obviously, this is a UK designer. She uses the UK yarn sizing system. In the US, we talk about yarn weights, worsted weight, DK weight. fingering weight, etc., etc. In the UK, they use ply. So this is a 4-ply yarn. What's interesting, when I Googled 4-ply yarn UK, I came up with various answers on what that translates into the US system. I saw one website that said that that is equal to a sport weight yarn. Sport weight sits in between DK weight and a lighter weight yarn. It's sometimes people think that sport and DK are the same thing, but they're not. Sport is slightly lighter than the DK yarn. But anyway, I digress. But then others were like, no, it's a sock yarn. And it was like, well, what is it? I don't know. And then I had a aha moment where I looked at the needle size, the recommended needle size for the pattern. And the recommended needle size was a 1.5 US needle. And what that told me was that this is basically a sock yarn or a fingering weight yarn. So that is what I'm going to show, is an array of sock yarns that I picked out. Hi, Natalie. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. You're just in time to help me pick yarn for my next project. And so, yes, that is one thing with knitting and crochet. We are an international community, and a lot of times we are like purchasing patterns from designers in other countries that use different yarn, different systems to rate the size of their yarn. And sometimes it can be confusing. Whoops, there we go. Sometimes it can be confusing what that translation is. And between like a 4-ply yarn in the UK versus a 4-ply yarn in Australia, not the same size. Australia has its own ply numbering system versus the UK. But something that is universal, maybe not how we call them, but needle sizes. You can always look at the needle size, and the needle size will give you a very good idea of what the weight of yarn is that you need, and try to match that weight of yarn to the needle. Now, sometimes a project, it's not perfect translation always. Sometimes a project is using a larger than usual needle for a yarn or a smaller to achieve a certain effect with the fabric, to create a tighter fabric or a looser fabric. So you kind of have to take that into consideration when you're looking at what yarn to pick for the system that you're used to. But the needle size does give you a good jumping off point. And this is one of the things about being a knitter and having a certain understanding of gauge and needle sizes and what you're trying to achieve can be really important, so that you feel more empowered to find the yarn that's going to match your project. So anyway, that was my little adventure this morning, actually, was me going, wait, 4-ply? I don't know what 4-ply means. What yarn should I try to shop for in my stash? Oh, but yeah. Bear, it looks kind of like the pattern you were doing on your top. I like it. Yes, I agree, Bear. It is very similar to that. I had to look more closely. The pattern on my tunic is a twisted, I think of it as a variation of, do I have the book with me? I have the book, do I see it? Anyway, of German twisted cables. So it's an actual cabling technique in my tunic. This is a mock cabling technique. It's using basically traveling stitches, but it's twisted stitches as well, and that's what looks familiar, is that it's the twisted stitches and creating that movement with the stitch pattern. I'm very excited. Like, this speaks to my soul. For whatever reason, these sorts of twisted stitch, traveling stitch patterns just speak to me. I love just the flow and that these type of patterns create, and they're a little less futzy to do normally than like straight up cable patterns, and they're a little bit more delicate too. These type of patterns, I think one of the reasons I gravitate towards them is that they have a delicacy to them that cable patterns don't. Cable patterns to me always look very, and this is not a bad thing, sometimes you want something that looks squishy and heavy and weighted and just like you're gonna wrap yourself up in warmth and comfort, and that's what cable patterns speak to. But sometimes you want something that's more delicate, and these sort of mock cable twisted stitch patterns and German twist cable patterns have that delicacy that I really just enjoy. Anyway, so let's look at some yarn. Shop my stash. Okay, I am going to turn on the light so you can see the color better. All out of sorts today. We got the overhead cam. I'm going to pop this out. Oops, sorry. Oh, there we go. There we go. Sorry for the glare. All right, so first I have is this yarn. Now I need to do the reps per inch. This might actually be a little bit heavier than a fingering weight yarn. This might actually be closer to sport weight. I love this yarn. This yarn is, I don't have the label in front of me. This is yarn that I got in Napa Valley from an independent, actually it was at a local yarn store in Napa, but it's by a local independent spinner, and this is a, if I remember correctly, is a alpaca and sheep fiber blend. It's gorgeous. And I have this in this pink. I also have it in light brown. This was part of the color choices options when we were picking out yarn for the Tunisian crochet project. And I love this. I'm always trying to find the right project for it. So this, and this has that very much that same kind of pink. It's not lavender like the Liz Cork sample that's in the pattern, but it has that same softness and feel to it that is really pretty. There we go. That's better. It's a really pretty color. Now, the one thing about this is it has no nylon. This is all natural fiber. I don't think that's a problem. This is a wool fiber. I think it'll have plenty of elasticity for the stitch pattern. The original yarn that was used in the Liz Cork is a sock yarn. So this is option one, which is this pink color. Another option is this. This is a dark forest green. This is Saki Bamboo Solids. This is 50% merino, superwash, 25% nylon, 25% rayon made from bamboo. So this is a wool and bamboo blend. What's nice about this is it's really nice and soft because it's superwash merino. It's like merino soft anyway, and then you make it superwash, it's going to be really soft. And but the rayon bamboo, which is really kind of imitating silk, gives it a nice sheen and softness as well. This would be a very different feel to it than the picture because this is like this dark, almost olive green. No, that's not going to work. Olive green, and let me hold up like this, maybe you can see it better. Yeah, you can see the color better this way. This is this nice olive green here, and it's really pretty. It's a little bit more what one might call as masculine. I really hate, in some ways, describing color in terms of gender expression like that. Masculine colors and feminine colors. Color is color. I kind of don't believe in that whole, like, I'm going to turn this thing off, that whole genderizing, is that a word? Color, but this would probably be considered a more masculine color, but it's really pretty. And I don't think it's so dark that the cabling would get lost in it, but it might. So got this pink here, and then this green. The same yarn, I don't have the label. This is the same type of yarn as this, but it's in a blue. This is showing much brighter on camera. It's more of a denim blue. It's not quite as bright as what this is looking like on camera. This right now from the lights and the camera is just reflecting a lot. That's making it look brighter than it is. But it's a really pretty blue. This would be a great choice. In some ways, I think this would be a safe choice, but it would be great. This, I mean, I look at this and I'm immediately like, yes, this would work perfectly for this pattern. Something else that would be really interesting would be this gray. This is Stroll from Knit Picks. This is their, and this is 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. And yeah, this would be gray. I love the color gray. I love gray. But gray can always be a little tricky to use paired with other colors because depending on how the gray was formed, gray for dyeing oftentimes it's not just combining black and white. Grays are usually made by combining, I forget the exact which sets of opposing colors form to make gray, but there's always an undertone to grays, and depending on what color you pair it with, different undertones get pulled out of it. And if you pair it with the wrong color, grays can start looking muddy. This is a very cool tone gray. And it would be very pretty. Again, it'd be a very different feel from, say, this pink. Ooh, isn't that pretty together? You gotta remember that. It's a very different, it would be it would be an interesting combination because I think this gray has a very like sort of strength to it, a feel of strength and sturdiness, and combined with sort of the delicacy of the stitch pattern, it could be a very interesting combination. Samantha, I love olive and deep greens. It has become a neutral staple in my wardrobe and accessories. I agree. First of all, green is my favorite color. Let's just start with that. Green is actually my favorite color in the world. And I love olive green. And it's like navy blue in that it's not a true neutral, but it is a faux neutral, and you can pair olive green with anything. Olive green is a great color to ground wilder colorway. So the same way that navy blue does, or gray does, or even black does. By the way, that's a question I have for all y'all. Let me know. Would you be interested in me doing a video on kind of my top tips for picking out a colorway when, doing color work? Let me know if you're interested in that. But I think olive green is always a great choice if you have like a color selection and you just need a color that sort of grounds everything. Like take the 1970s and those terrible color combinations of brown, orange, and yellow. If you just replace the brown with an olive green, suddenly you have something that's more modern and more interesting. Anyway, yes to color selection video. Yeah, I love color is one of the reasons why I'm into knitting and crafting in general. I love color. I love playing with color. I love picking out color. I love color. I'm a very colorful person. Anyway, next up, this is another blue, but this is a darker, grayer blue. This is also Stroll fingering from Knit Picks. This is color Dusk. Let's see. This one is Ash. This one is Dusk. This is another really pretty color. But this is a darker, grayer blue as compared. Like you can see these are both blue, but this one is brighter blue than this one. This is really pretty too. Again, this might be categorized as more masculine. I gotta find another word. What's another word we can use to describe a color that's like just darker and feels more something? Or something. Bear. I really like gray. I like the darker gray too. I would appreciate tips on pairing up colors. Yeah. There, and the thing is, like, I've got a lot of ideas on it. Nisa, deep, bold, earthy. Thank you. Yes, Nisa, welcome, and thank you. This is definitely deeper and bolder. It's not really, I guess you could call it an earth tone, because it kind of reminds you of certain shades of stone. The olive is definitely an earthy tone. And, but this is definitely solid. It feels solid. All right, so those are, I have more. I have more colors. I have more. The next ones I'm going to show you, these are partial balls, but I have full hanks for this project. I don't think any one of these would really be enough to complete both gloves, but this is just really easy to get at. If you know my logo, which actually might be down in the corner if you're watching this on YouTube, these colors might look familiar to you because these are the colors that I use to make my Fair Isle socks. But there's this color, which is very bright, bold, fun color. It's a salmon kind of pinky peach color. I love this color. This would be definitely a more sort of these are kind of more subdued colors that I've been showing you and softer colors. This is definitely a punchier, in-your-face pink as opposed to this soft pink. And again, this is kind of a corally, peachy pink. And I love it. There's this, which I probably won't. I don't know why I pulled this out of the bag. This is, by the way, this is the same color and that I'm using for the Tunisian crochet project. So I probably won't use this. I think this is dark enough that the cabling, the mock cabling might get a little lost with this. By the way, this yarn is Cloudborne sock yarn. I don't remember the exact percentage, but it is superwash Highland wool and nylon. But this is a very pretty color, but I don't think this is one I'm going to use. So I'm going to just set that to the side. I don't want to get sick of looking at that color, and I'm looking at that color a lot right now with the Tunisian crochet project. This would be a bold, interesting, out-of-the-box choice, which is lime green. I love lime green because it's not pretty. It's not a pretty color. I mean, it's actually really very prettier on camera than it does in person. In person, it's very much has that almost yellow highlighter tinge to the green that isn't quite showing up on camera, but I love this color. This is the type of color, this is what I call my drop of poison color. In color work, there is a concept known as a drop of poison. I was talking about this a little bit with Jillian on Instagram this weekend because of a yarn that she spun, an ugly sweater yarn that she spun. But in color work, there's an idea called drop of poison. And the idea being that when you're putting together colorways, it can get, we all have a tendency to sort of pick safe colors. And they can end up looking a little drab or boring. And a way to liven it up and create more interest and have a more dynamic colorway is to drop in a little color that's not very attractive. That's not as attractive. So for like my socks, my thinking for that, I don't have them with me, but again, it's in my logo. They're the socks that's in my logo. These two colors are very pretty. They go together just really beautifully, right? But the thing that I think that makes it really interesting with the sock is I put in stripes of this color, right? And that gave to me the sock just a little bit of funk that made it interesting. So lime green tends to be kind of my little drop of poison when I'm doing projects. And if I feel like a colorway is looking a little boring, throw in a color that you might consider a little ugly, you know, on its own. But when you mix it with other colors that are, you know, easily attractive to the eye, it just, that little ugly color suddenly has its purpose in the world. So yeah. Last but not least, we're back to a very earthy tone, and that is this stone brown. This is a grayish brown. This would be fine. I don't love this idea personally, but I'm going to throw it into the mix as an option because why not? Why not? All right, so what are your guys' thoughts? Do you have a favorite? Are you one like, no, Carrie, get rid of that one? I'm going to put on the overhead camera. Maybe the dusk blue with the gray. This one. Yeah, I like this one. I like the idea of this one a lot. And I've never found a project. I love the color, but I've never found a project where I felt like, ooh, yeah, that one. So, interesting. Keeps popping up on the bottom. Let me put on my overhead composite. So here are all the yarns. Here we go. I'm going to widen this out a little. Oops. There we go. So these are all the colors that we're kind of looking at. I'm going to put this one to the side because I know already I don't want to use this since I'm looking at it so much. So I'm putting that one to the side. I personally not a huge fan of the gray brown here. I mean, I love the color generally. I just don't love it for this project. This doesn't speak to my soul. But I do love this cloudborn yarn. I love this. By the way, you know what? I'm going to make a decision right now, and I'm actually going to put all the cloudborn to the side because I think I want to try to stick with using a merino wool. And the reason I say that is I have a bunch of sock yarn that is made up of superwash merino, and I have come to discover that I don't really love merino superwash for socks. I think that merino yarn is this one. Merino fiber, I should say, is a more delicate sheet fiber. It's not as sturdy as others, and I think for socks, which is such a hard-wearing item, the merino wool just wears out very quickly for socks. And I understand why it's become so popular overall, but with sock yarns in particular, because it is so soft and it feels really nice against the skin, and you don't have any scratchiness. But I think you give up sturdiness, and the socks just wear out quicker. So I have moved away from using merino wool for sock knitting. So I feel like I want to try to use up some of my merino wool for these sorts of glove projects, because I think fingering weight superwash merino wool is great for something like a fingerless glove. I like the grape blue as well, and the salmon color. Yeah, the salmon is really pretty. I mean, whoops. The salmon, this is like a really pretty color. It's hard to resist that. I mean, I could always make 2 pairs. If I really love making the project, I could always make it again. So I kind of personally, nobody's bringing this up. And you know what else? The reason I'm going to move away from this is now that I'm looking more closely at the yarn, this is a hand spun yarn, and I'm noticing as I look that there is some thick thin going on, that there's a lack of consistency, and I think that this pattern, I want a consistency to the spin of the yarn. So we will find a project for you one day, you beautiful, lovely girl. Maybe male, but non-binary. You lovely thing. We will find you a project, but you're not gonna make it today. I'm sorry. Sorry. You lost the pageant, the yarn pageant. So we got down to olive green. I did not expect this. I did not expect to get down to olive green, 2 blues and a gray. I'm leaning. So here's your last chance to vote. And in fact, let's see. Oh, you know what? We are running up to an hour. Wow, this went by fast today. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a photo of these 4 colors, and I'm going to put a poll up on Instagram, and you all have a chance to make your final vote for a color for me to use for the Loose Natui. I don't know how to pronounce it. Glove. Fingerless Glove by Liz Cork. Again, I do love this pattern. I'm very excited to cast it on. I'm also excited because this pattern does recommend the Estonian cast on, and I have not done this cast on before, so I'm excited to try a new cast on because I love trying new cast ons. I'm very excited about this project. I'm so excited. So yeah. But yes, I'm going to take a picture of these 4 yarns and put it up on Instagram as a poll, and you all can vote on what you think I should use for that project. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm going to be honest, I was a little nervous about today's live stream because I felt like I wasn't really sure what I was going to talk about. Had some technical difficulties, but we worked past them. And I think it's been overall a really fun hour. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have not already, please make sure that you give a thumbs up to this video so YouTube knows that this is a space worth checking out. And if you're watching on the replay, please let me know what colors you think I should use for the project. Let me know down in the comments below, or you can head over to Instagram and have your vote on the poll. Upcoming week, videos that are upcoming. So I'm going to be shooting a video this week about lever knitting. I don't know why that's making me laugh. Anyway, but I'm going to be shooting that tomorrow, and that's going to be my video coming up this Friday. I'm going to be talking about lever knitting and doing knit purl combinations. I got a question on my lever knitting video, like one of the first videos I ever shot, and asking about moving the yarn and doing ribbing, and I'm going to offer some tips, little tips on how to make it more efficient if you are a English style knitter like myself, because that is one area where I do think Continental has advantages over English style, is ribbing and knit purl combination. So I'm going to do a video on that, and also part of that video is going to be me doing a slow-mo. I'm going to do a slow-mo demonstration of lever knitting. That's not something I really did in my first video, and I think that could be a good addition for people who are wanting to learn lever knitting. So that's going to be this video coming up this week. I'm also working on a video about a follow-up short row video to answer questions, because I have gotten some questions about short rows after my knitting secrets revealed, understanding short rows, what they all have in common. Gotten some questions, so I'm going to do a follow-up video on short rows. If you have any questions about short rows, please let me know, because I'm going to be formatting this as sort of a me answering your questions way. So again, let me know down in the comments down below if you have any questions about short rows. I'm going to be talking about what to do if you drop a stitch and you drop your short row, which I touched on in my Knitting Secrets Revealed video, but I'm going to more clearly explain it and demonstrate it so that you can really see it, because nothing replaces seeing it happening live. I will go more in depth on how to substitute one short row technique for another, and I will try to answer what other questions you may have. Oh, that's a great. Bear says, I think the green would be the best. The slip stitch patterning looks a bit like a plant or vine to me. I think that's a great thought. I love that idea. So yeah, that's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks, is my follow-up short row video. I'm also going to start working on a video to talk about just my top tips for picking out colors. But I got to organize my thinking a little bit with that. But that's going to be another one. And I got a very exciting video planned for the end of the year. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? We are in the last weeks of the 2020. It's unreal. Oh, by the way, just throwing it out there, my birthday is coming up in the next week or two. My birthday is on December 11th. I don't know why I just shared that, but I did. So I'm going to be I'm planning a video where I'm going to kind of do a year-end review of things. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do it, whether it'll be like a countdown of some sort or just me like whatever, but I kind of want to do just a year back review, retrospective of like things I've worked on, things that maybe I need to update information on. So I'm kind of excited about that. If there's anything where you're like, Carrie, I'd like an update on this or an update on that, again, let me know down in the comments down below. Or you can find me on Twitter or Instagram. All my social media is down in the description box below. Also down in the description box, you will find affiliate links. if you're going to shop with any place of which I am involved in their affiliate program, please consider using one of my links. Using the links just helps support my channel because these are free for everyone to watch, but they are not free for me to make. And so subscribing to my channel helps support my channel tremendously. Very close to 500, almost to 500. And giving my videos likes, subscribing to my channel, all these things help support my channel tremendously. And I am so grateful to everyone who comes each week or comes occasionally to the live streams, watches my videos. I'm so deeply grateful to all of you who have given me support. If you'd like to throw in a little extra support, you can always consider please using one of my affiliate links. I am currently an affiliate with Etsy, Michaels, Lovecrafts. Is that it? I feel like there's one more that I'm missing. I guess. Oh, Knitpicks. I'm like, I know there's one more. I'm a terrible affiliate, by the way. I'm not really good at plugging. I always feel like, oh, I gotta do this. But, and Knitpicks. So if you want to if you're interested in Stroll or any of those things, please consider using, but as I always say, only consider it if you were going to buy something anyway, because then it's just a win-win. You get something you were planning to get, I get a little commission that helps support the channel. So maybe one day I can upgrade my overhead camera or get a webcam, things like that. So that's it. Sorry, I've been a little off today. I'm not feeling completely myself. And so I did my plugs, what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. I think that's everything. So thank you again for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Hope you have a great week ahead. Thank you for helping me pick out yarn for my project. I love involving all of you all in this process. I think it's a really fun way to interact with one another. Please make sure if you are on social media, you can follow me on social media. And I think that's everything. So as always, happy health and happy knitting. Bye.